Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Maine Pageant Place. Today we have the honor of sitting down with Mikaela Pellerin. Mikaela, welcome.
Hi, Christina. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to kind of dig in and introduce you to our followers. And let's start with a little bit of a synopsis of kind of who you are.
Absolutely. So my name is Mikaela. I'm 20 years old and I grew up in Gorham, Maine. I'm currently a junior at East Tennessee State University where I study nursing, and I'm also in the Changemakers honors program, and I had the honor of being Miss Maine High School America 2022.
So what inspired you to pursue any kind of endeavor in pageantry to begin with?
Absolutely. So growing up, I was super shy and I really needed to find my confidence, and I felt really isolated. I had been picked on a bit in high school, and so that was really important to me when finding an organization, finding something that resonated with my values. So the Miss High School America organization has a national anti-bullying campaign, and as someone who experienced bullying throughout my childhood, I really resonated with that community service platform. And finding the community in pageantry really gave me a voice to stand up for myself when I was so shy, I didn't feel that was possible. And so being even here today and speaking with you is really out of my comfort zone and something I never thought I would have been able to do even just a couple of years ago, let alone being on a national stage and things like that. I'm really proud of the progress that I've made, and I accredit that to pageantry.
Amazing. I think that's wonderful when you can kind of find a way to find a voice and to not only stand up for yourself, but others as well through that advocacy. Was there anything about pageantry when you started that really just surprised you?
I think what surprised me most is how supportive the other women were, because these are contestants. We were vying for the same title, but I found such love and support with women my own age, and that wasn't something that I had at my high school or middle school. So having women that were teenagers or even a little bit older than me that I looked up to and that were supporting me directly, that was super surprising to not have that competitive aspect, but supportive aspect. In the behind the scenes of the dressing room, we would all hype each other up and support each other. We used to do little chants backstage to get excited and ready to go on stage. And it was so amazing to be empowered by other young women.
Beyond just the sisterhood that pageantry forms, is there something about the specific pageant weekend that's your favorite part, whether it be interview, stage, runway, evening gown? Is there anything that really just sparks your joy that pageant weekend?
I think all of it is absolutely my favorite, but interview is what means the most to me because I'm able to talk about my community service platforms and the things that I'm actively doing. I think it's really important to have substance behind the looks. So I do a lot of modeling, and that is very superficial. You're just producing images and videos and whatnot. So I like having a meaning behind the things that I do. So when I do model, I like to have art that tells a story, or work with local brands and represent their clothing or hair or whatever that may be. And so having meaning behind all that I'm doing. So to me, pageantry wasn't just about having a title. It was about having that leadership platform. So not only gaining confidence and becoming less shy was my goal, but also being a leader and having a bigger platform to stand on and share my community service with and create a community for women. My personal pageant platform was on gender equality in STEM. And that was something that we had a real big need for, especially within the teenage age group, as I did hold a teen title.
Amazing. I'm blown away with what you've accomplished at such a young age and how you were able to know that there were these industries that you could put yourself forward and gain and change your skill set in your toolbox. Okay, so let's go a little bit more in depth of your platform, just so our viewers can really understand the mechanics behind what you've created.
Absolutely. So the Miss High School America organization has a national platform, which is called BRAVE. And that's an acronym that stands for Building Respect and Values for Everyone. And that's that anti-bullying campaign I was talking about earlier. So as a state title holder going to nationals, in my head I was thinking, what can I do to put a unique spin on BRAVE? It was really unique that all contestants from every single state had the same anti-bullying campaign that we were representing, but I wanted to stand out. And so I combined that with my passion for empowering women in STEM STEM, and I started my own podcast called Brave X Empower. And I had women of all ages and backgrounds come on and share their stories on a full season of my podcast. And I was so surprised that within 2 weeks of launching, we were housed on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, gaining an international audience. And even looking back at the statistics, there were listeners from all over the US, in Australia, and even Europe. So having such a big impact and having people who really wanted to listen to what we had to say was the most meaningful thing that I've done in my life so far.
I think that's what makes you such a worthy queen, is to not only understand who you are, but also be able to lift up and support others, when I feel like this can be an industry where sometimes you don't always find that, although collectively it's there. When you can really find those niches of queens that really lift each other up, that's a really special and very valuable gift. What's been one of your favorite community engagements that you've done since taking title and since being in the pageant industry?
So on my podcast, we had a lot of guest speakers come, and we would share a lot of problems and solutions that were in the whole science and STEM world. And after my first season, we acquired so many solutions with so many different perspectives that I decided to mobilize Brave X Empower in the community right before I went to nationals. And that really started with empowering youth. That was kind of the conclusion that we came to. And so I started going back into my old elementary school in Gorham, Maine, Great Falls Elementary School, and I created STEM events for young children to have hands-on experiences and to learn more about science and careers, and especially empower those young girls, you know, statistically at age 11, to build their confidence and show them that science can be a real job for you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's highlighting industries that we know we need that equality in, just like you spoke about earlier. So phenomenal job there as well.
Thank you.
What do you think is next for you, maybe career-wise? Let's let the viewers know what you're working on now down in Tennessee.
Absolutely. So I'm a rising junior in the nursing program at East Tennessee State University, and I'm also a Changemakers Honors Scholar. So Changemakers is the reason that I moved to Johnson City, Tennessee to attend ETSU. It's an incredible program that's hands-on. So I'm in a cohort of 25 students in a 4-year program. And it gives me the resources to travel abroad, work with community partners, and get funding to do whatever passion I have. So in my Changemakers classes, we have architects, we have business students, I'm a nursing student, we have education, we have all different people in a room, and we'll sit down and look at different problems. For example, we did a homelessness project in Johnson City, but you have all these different brains coming together and working on problems. And it's really meaningful work that we're doing. And I'm just starting my capstone now. I'm starting research for it this fall, where I'm hoping to publish an educational guide for holistic remedies for common pediatric illnesses.
Wow. Well, we'll definitely keep our community posted as that progresses for you, and keep them in the loop and informed with everything that you're working towards. Tell me, what's been one of the biggest changes for you personally with moving from Maine to Tennessee? What has that kind of offered you community-wise, job-wise, and outlook-wise?
Absolutely. I found pushed myself to become a lot more social, because I had moved at 18 years old all the way from Maine, having lived here my whole life, to a new town, and I didn't know anyone. I was alone. So I really pushed myself to join a lot of organizations, get involved. I'm really proud of my campus leadership. I'm a senator in Student Government Association for the College of Nursing. It was an honor to be elected into that role. And then in my sorority, Alpha Xi Delta, I'm the Pan-Atlantic delegate. So I'm a liaison between all of the 5 sororities on campus, and I represent my own sorority. And so having those opportunities to speak weekly in a microphone and advocate for fellow out-of-state students in the student government has really given me a great college campus community. And I really pushed myself to do that. Like I said, I grew up very shy. So all of that was growth that I accredit to pageantry, helping get out of my shell.
How do you lead authentically in a world that really prefers conformity?
I think going back to your roots. For me, my roots are here in Maine. I think Mainers are kind, they're hardworking, and they come together and support one another. So falling back on your roots and your values and staying true to yourself no matter what situation you're put in is how you remain authentic.
I love that. It seems like it all circles back to community and the people around you that not only you inspire, but you empower as well. So after you competed in your first pageant and you took that title home, what were some outside forces and people that maybe entered your life and helped change your life?
Right after gaining the state title, I was asked to be the youngest face in the Women's History Month project in the year 2022, hosted by Renata O'Donnell, who owns a photography business as well as Stiletto Modeling Agency local to here in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. And through that, I was really empowered and uplifted in my modeling career by Renata specifically. She really believed in me and taught me so much of what I know. And it was really a pivotal time in my modeling career, where after that, I gained a whole toolbox of skills and I really polished my resume. And just a couple weeks ago, I was working on Fox Live with NASCAR. I worked the CMA Fest. I've been in magazines since then. I met you through a runway show, all of those things. And I really thank her for supporting me throughout the whole time and believing in me at such a young age.
I think that that's something that maybe people don't really realize from pageantry is the trajectory and how it can propel you forward when you're brave enough to push yourself out there and showcase who you are and what your passions are. And I find like this is advice I have for women. It's like, even when you don't necessarily take a crown home, you still win because you don't know who saw you and who's going to support you on the back end.
Right.
So I think that that's great that those connections for you are something that you've internalized, you've continued to grow upon and expand upon. So one of the things I noticed when I first laid my eyes on you today was your amazing outfit. And then you told me a little bit of the history. Let's let our viewers know about this wonderful creation that you're wearing.
So this is a two-piece set from Aslan Hope. She's a stylist in Johnson City, and I recently worked with her at a local Revive event that we had at Blackthorn Club in Johnson City, and it was supporting local Hurricane Helene efforts because those efforts are ongoing, even though the destruction happened a long time ago. Efforts like Revive and Aslan Hope, the stylist who owns this boutique, want to keep contributing towards our community in the Appalachian area that has been destroyed. So it's really meaningful for me to be working with businesses like this and supporting these businesses. And that can all be tied back to my Maine roots and how I've always worked with local businesses up here as well. I met you at Flowers That Feed, which is a charity fashion show as well. So keeping that roots no matter where I go has always been important to me.
Is there one new venture in Tennessee that you maybe weren't expecting to stumble into?
I think sorority has been something I never expected. My entire freshman year, I was not in a sorority, but I decided to rush my sophomore year. And within a month or two of being in the sorority, I was elected onto the executive board as the Panhellenic delegate. And that was a really pleasant surprise to have that community, which is a whole sisterhood, very similar to pageantry as well. So having that support has been really incredible.
Of course, you're definitely more than just beauty. You're definitely brains, which I think is what makes you such an excellent queen and a role model. So your resume was absolutely beautiful. Lots of things in there to dive into. But I noticed you've had a lot of honors and awards. Is there anything that means more than not to you?
So I was recently awarded with the 2024 Peace Builder Award at East Tennessee State University, and that was an incredible honor to receive. Only one student received it in the student body. So being recognized for all of the smaller community projects I've done while in college has been extremely meaningful. I have done a lot of work with Homes for Our Troops, which is supporting veterans, a lot of fundraisers around that, Kindly Hearts Social Initiative, RAIN, Stop Hazing, a lot of national organizations that have fundraisers and smaller projects for. So combining all those little things that I've done and putting it together and being recognized for that was really meaningful.
Do you have any upcoming events at all that you want to let our viewers know to follow and to support?
A couple exciting things is I am dabbling back into the world of pageantry, but on the other side of the table. So I'm going to be a pageant judge and a pageant staff member in some new systems that are new to me down in Tennessee and North Carolina. So I'm really excited to be doing that, and my journey can be followed on social media for that.
Perfect. And let's let our viewers know where they can find you, Mikaela.
It's at Mikaela.Pellerin on Instagram and TikTok.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today. We really appreciate making the journey to come up.
Thank you for having me.